Right, 2 seconds. Everyone's here. Is everyone ready? We good to go? Yeah? Yes. Yeah. Let's do it. Cool. Although I don't know. Hang on. Can you ask me? Do you want one of us? Yeah, I know it's okay. It's fine. Actually, they know what to do. It's fine. Testing, testing. Hello. Just quickly, the order of we're going to do things, we're going to do education and community officer first, then we're going to do welfare and diversity, and then activities and opportunities. I'll welcome you, I'll let you know what position it is, I'll welcome you on stage, and then we've got a series, I've got a little bit of blurb to say, and then we've got a series of questions that you all have to answer. Will be great, it'll be fine, let's have some fun. I've never done this before. I think it's a little nervous. Right, we're ready. Okay, so hello, welcome to Hustings 2024. How exciting to have you all here. This is an opportunity for you to question your candidates and work out who you think will be best to represent you and all the students here at UOG. You can check out their manifestos on the SU website, so please do have a look at those so you can make an informed vote. This year, all voting will be done on campus only at our polling stations, which will be based at Oxtalls, Park and FCH campuses. Proxy voting will be available for those with accessibility needs or other specific circumstances. And for more information about that, please speak to me. There will be an opportunity to vote today, so we've got our voting booth outside, and that will start at 3 till 5. Everyone who votes gets a free donut, so that's good. Further voting will continue tomorrow, Tuesday, and then it will close on Thursday. And there'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on each campus from 10 till 4 p.m. So, choosing your full-time officers is a really important part of university life. For some of you, this will be your first taste of democracy, which is an amazing thing. Later this year, we'll have a UK general election, so this really is the perfect time to get comfortable with democracy and using your voice for change. We'd like to say thank you to our amazing television production students and staff here today helping us out with the live stream. Fantastic to have you, feels very professional. All of us from the SU are excited to hear from the candidates today about what they pledge to do for students. Later on, we will have a chance to take questions from the audience and from students. Joining online, we're on social media, so that's exciting, live streamed. And students can pop in a question so everyone has an opportunity to question their candidates. So, a few house rules before we get started. Each candidate will start with a 1-minute opening statement. For each question, candidates will have time for 1-minute answer, and we will be timing. We've got fantastic Drew in the background doing that. After all the candidates have answered the question posed, we will open up for any 30-second responses from any of the other candidates. It's a really good opportunity to get your voice heard again. And finally, once all questions are finished, there will be time for a 1-minute closing statement from each candidate. I'll approach candidates for answers in random order, so be prepared. I can repeat the questions, so do let me know if this is required. So, first up, we have our candidates for Education and Community Officer. Please come on up. So we've got Kit, big round of applause, Kit, Ibby, Aminul, and Shrav. We may not have one of our candidates. That's Aminul. Unfortunately, they've not arrived today, but we're going to take it to the other candidates today. Okay, so first question. What is your favourite biscuit and why do you think it's the best? Shrav.
I'm simple. I like oatmeal, but it's probably the best because it's simple.
Nice. Ibby, what's your favourite biscuit?
My favourite biscuit is a Jammy Dodger because it has a little heart in it. It's vegan, and also the jam is actually apple jam and not strawberry, which always is a fun fact for me to share.
Okay, Kit. Favourite biscuit?
I'll probably go for a golden bar. They're quite firm in the middle, which gives the crunch, whilst also quite smooth on the outside. So.
Nice. The questions will get a bit more serious now, just but good to open up with a fun one. I'm quite passionate about biscuits myself. So, as a full-time officer, you represent around 9,000 students spread across Gloucestershire. How would you ensure you had a diversity of views? I'll go to Kit first.
Well, one of my key pledges is having open surgeries so that students at any time can ask for, one, either help where they want to go in their career. They can also ask what the executives are doing as well. And also direct polling so that they can have, say, an enhanced democracy. That's my plan.
Thank you, Kit. Any responses to that? No? Ibby, do you want the question again, or are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as a full-time officer, you represent around 9,000 students spread across Gloucestershire. How would you ensure that you had a diversity of views?
I think it's about starting from the student voice, so making sure that SVAs are from a diverse range of courses and backgrounds, as well as network leads, and also embracing that diversity. My campaign this year has been around disabled students, and I aim to continue that. And embracing that is really important to me.
Thank you, Ibby. Shrav, do you want the question again?
No?
Good.
Diversity being improved in courses, is that what you said?
So, I'll give you the question just again. As a full-time officer, you represent around 9,000 students spread across Gloucestershire. How would you ensure that you had a diversity of views?
Diversity of views. Well, not exactly prepared for this, but I think diversity can be used in many ways. Obviously, you can profess using courses, lectures, and I feel like improving them in your courses or lectures would be helpful, maybe as student leads. And
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next question. Course rep engagement is a long-standing challenge of our student voice rep scheme. What would you do to improve course rep engagement? Shrav, I'll go to you.
course rep engagement, maybe setting up more student group work, more discussion, more social events, a bit more interaction with your lecturers as well. Interaction between lecturers and students, it's not very common now, so I feel like more social engagements would be good. But, yeah.
Thank you. Ibby.
So this is actually one of my campaign points, is improving student voice communication. So I hope to set up a student voice newsletter, including student voice assistants, course reps and network leads in that. I would like to revitalise Course Rep of the Month by posting it on social media and promoting it more. And I'd encourage student voice assistants to put forward reps and celebrate them more. And also with course reps is organising elections and training earlier, so working within the student voice team to make sure that course reps are in as soon as they can and they are trained and feel supported with the SU.
Thank you. Kit, you. And well, I'm going to introduce the mic because I don't think that's picking up enough noise. So if you can pass that between you, that would be great.
I believe that cross-campus connections are the most important for dealing with this. Working within the campus and within your small little course is perfectly fine and great, but actually see what other courses want as well, to integrate it, that's the most important thing to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you keep hold of that until we've got the next questions, that'd be great. Okay, next question. Are you ready? Recent announcements by the government have noted tighter regulations by the OFS, who are the Office for Students and the regulatory body for higher education. They have noted how the OFS will examine freedom of speech in SUs and universities. How will you ensure freedom of speech is protected here at UOG? Ibby, I'm going to go to you first.
So I've worked within the SU to help with our freedom of speech work. Apologies, let me think for a minute. And I think it's important to make spaces confidential for students. So within Student Voice, making sure that course reps feel free to speak their mind, and Student Voice assistants feel free to speak their mind, even if it's not necessarily productive, but giving them that space to listen to them and make them feel heard.
Thank you, Ibby. Kit, we go to you next. Do you want the question again, or are you okay?
No, it's okay.
Yep.
For freedom of speech, my surgeries, of course, are going to be, naturally, there are no repercussions for what I said. You should not feel fearful of the higher-ups coming down on you, while also allowing certain areas to ask the adults as well, because only I can do so much, but students directly being involved with the adult population will help. Thank you.
Thank you, Kit. Shrav?
Freedom of speech can be increased by more social media interactions and interaction with the lecturers and students. I would probably do this by setting up more social groups and study groups as well, and more interaction between lecturers and students is more important, so I feel like that would be good.
Thank you. If you keep hold of that for now. Okay, so we know that students have raised issues with the irregular scheduling of assessments, with some periods have large quantities of assignments due and other periods with very few. What do you think about this, and how would you resolve this issue for students? Kit, I'll go to you.
This begins with timetabling, and timetabling can be sorted through looking at similar course exam dates, so that it is consistent throughout the year rather than all being top-loaded. Was also getting feedback from the students, looking at where precisely there are issues, so that we can focus on them as a collective. Thank you.
Thank you. Shrav, I'll go to you next. Yeah, of course. We know that students have raised issues with the irregular scheduling of assessments, with some periods have large quantities of assignments due and other periods with very few. What do you think about this, and how would you resolve this issue for students?
Well, for starters, I feel like that is an issue, and to be resolved, I feel like timetables should be given earlier, and they're not set earlier, so getting them much beforehand would be a really good solution. So I would try to make lecturers send the timetables earlier than they were meant to be sent.
Okay, thank you. Ibby?
So this relates to one of my campaign points, which is about clarity on academic guidance and support, and clarity on academic regulations. So I've already done work this year with the university on the academic calendar for next academic year and preventing assessment bunching and things like that. I would also like to work with SVAs to pinpoint where or what courses are specifically being affected by this. It may be that there are certain schools or subjects where it's a more pressing issue, and I would also like to lobby the university on creating a policy that demands one assessment per week, bar obviously exam weeks.
Thank you very much. Keep hold of that for now. Okay, next question. What is your opinion on the impact of AI on academic integrity? Ibby, I'll go to you first.
So AI is an interesting one. I, again, have worked with the university on developing guidance on what AI should look like in academic policy. And again, it goes back to my campaign point about academic guidance and making sure students know what their rights are when using AI in assessments or work, and making sure that they are clear in that and understanding what consequences there may be if they breach those.
Thank you. Shrav, we'll go to you next.
AI could be a really useful tool to help students learn better. Now that we have ChatGPT and etc., it could be a really good tool to be used to educate lecturers and students and improve interaction between them. But at the same time, we do need to make sure that it's not being copied. So ChatGPT or anything else that's being used for assignments would be better discussed with the lecturers, and the better involvement within them would be useful, I think. If that makes sense.
Thank you. Kit?
AI is a new and developing phenomenon, and that's going to require consistent looks at changes of regulations, as well as how lecturers can use certain parts within modules. So it's not about discounting it and making it like a lesser role. It's about how to use it and making it clear in the portfolio description. So that's the important thing.
Okay, thank you both. Thank you all, even. As you know, there is an awarding gap where students of colour are less likely to achieve a high-level class degree. How would you tackle this pressing issue? So I'll go to Kit first. Do you want me to say it again?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sorry. As you know, there is an awarding gap where many students of colour are less likely to achieve a high-level class degree. How would you tackle this pressing issue?
Well, it's having a look at like the cause, like the root cause of all of this, and that's generally to look at financial measures as well as like support for within the university for them. So part of my campaign is both food and mental health. So examining that and how we can improve like sort of like counselling or like one-to-one sessions with them whilst supporting them, and also make sure they don't have like worry about like food or other international, because international students have a completely different set of worries. So it's about easing those.
Thank you. Ibi, do you want to go next?
Yeah. So I have already done work with the university. I am on the Awarding Gap Working Group, so I work with the university to see what measures can be changed to improve the awarding gap and make it smaller. I think it's about decolonising the curriculum, providing further clarity on support, and providing better access to academic support.
Thank you. Shrav?
So as you know, international students face difficulty with English and other learning disabilities common to people, not just people of colour, but I would improve the connection between lecturers and students in the form of English. So non-native English speakers would have different means to educate them. So we would try to improve this between lecture students and assignments. So most of the assignments are in English, but this is something to be worked on.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, last question, and then we'll take some questions from the public. So, as you know, the university has recently restructured its school system. How will you work with student voice assistants to ensure that they are representing as many voices as they can from their individual schools? So, Shrav, do you want to go first? Do you want me to repeat it? Yeah? Okay, so as you know, the university has recently restructured its school system, so we've gone from 7 schools to 4. How will you work with the student voice assistants to ensure that they are representing as many voices as they can from their individual schools?
Student voice assistants.
I'm actually not too sure.
Should we come back to you? Is that all right? Ibi, do you want to go?
Sure. So this comes back to one of my campaign points about student voice communication. So I would create this newsletter about student voice, but also work with student voice assistants. So provide one-to-one per semester with each assistant to make sure they're doing their job properly. Provide training earlier on and more comprehensive training. And also seeing where the pitfalls lie. So if, for example, in School of Arts, a lot of the SVAs are based at Park, seeing how they can go across campuses to improve their communications with other campuses.
Thank you, Ibi. Kit?
My course in itself is being removed after the next cohort I study history and politics, so this is an important issue to me. Representing the minority opinion and seeing how they can at least see the potential for the future of some of these schools coming back is really important to lay the foundation for that. It's also important to see how the existing ones that are going to continue, how they interact with each other, and how sorry, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
It's okay.
My bad.
I feel like this would be better enhanced if they were more academic. Student voices have to be knowledgeable on what they represent. So a bit more academic knowledge and behavioral and attitudinal knowledge towards your course and what you know about this would probably be.
Okay, all right, thank you. Now we've got a bit of time to ask any questions from the floor. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
So as you may know, the university are planning many changes coming up within the next current years. I was wondering how you would make sure that the students' opinions on these changes would be handled and fed to the correct people.
Thank you. Okay, Shrav, do you want to go first? So, do you want me to repeat the question, I think? So, there was going to be many, you've said there was many changes coming up at the university. How we make sure that student voices are taken to the right people within the university?
Student union would be the best place for this, but at the same time, you can approach your personal tutors or lecturers and always go to your student reps for any kind of questions.
Thank you. Kit?
One of my main policies is a freedom of information request for people, for the student union portal. So understanding the reasons why something may be, or like if there's going to be problems with your course, it's totally going to be like incorporated within that. As I said, there's going to be hope the alarm's not going to kill me.
No, I think we can carry on for now. We'll just give it 30 seconds. If it still goes on, we'll take a break. Ooh. No, there we go. Thank goodness for that. Nice little surprise there for us. Do you want the question again, Kit? Because that was a bit...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Wait,
Luke, you got it?
I can think about it. Freedom of information. Yes, my surgeries as well, directly talking to me, as well as the polling before sitting on the executive board. All of these three things are essential to that question.
Well, thank you, Ibby.
So I've done something like this already with the Student Hubs project. We encouraged SVAs. We brought the leads of this project to the SVAs to get their opinions, and I also let them know that they can come to me with any feedback about that. I think it's, again, improving visibility of course reps and SVAs, so training them earlier and making visibility of the reps that people can go to quicker. I also want to make myself more available, again, such as having these one-to-ones with SVAs, and yeah.
That's great, thank you. Any more questions? No? Okay, great. Well, can everyone give them a big round of applause and a big thanks for answering all those questions? It's amazing, thank you. So, in our student union office, we've got some budding journalists ready to ask you a few questions and get you on film. So if you'd like to make your way, that'd be great. I don't know what you're saying. Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, I'll do it at the end. Right. Next up, we have welfare and diversity. If you're the candidates for welfare and diversity, want to come up? So we have Babola, Daisy, and Annabelle. Everyone give them a round of applause. All right. Excellent. So you've got a bit of a head start here. The first question is, what is your favourite biscuit and why do you think it's the best? Daisy, do you want to go first?
I would probably go with a classic bourbon biscuit because, one, it's chocolate and you can never go wrong with chocolate biscuits, but also they're very good with a cup of tea, so I think they're a good choice.
Thank you. Babola?
Yeah, my favorite biscuit is rich tea, and the reason is I don't like sugar, so Rich tea is one of the biscuits that actually don't have too much sugar.
And then Annabelle.
I love bourbon too as well. They're nice and the shape is really nice and the chocolate, never go wrong.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first serious question. As a full-time officer, you represent around 9,000 students spread across Gloucestershire. How would you ensure you had a diversity of views? Annabelle, I'll go to you first.
Thank you very much. I am excited to meet different people from different countries, and I believe that as a welfare representative, I'm going to get the opportunity to meet even more people because I'll be out there reaching out to them, getting to know different people coming from different places, working with other officers to make sure that I hear different opinions and what everyone's going through.
Okay, Daisy?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, sure, of course. As a full-time officer, you represent around 9,000 students spread across Gloucestershire. How would you ensure that you had a diversity of views?
Well, that actually relates to one of my campaign points. I want to recruit the course reps per se. So obviously each course has a course reps. That means by making them a point of contact for individuals, we can reach a broad amount of students because we can reach every single course. And this means we can get a good representation of everyone's views because that can then be brought to us and the respective person.
Thank you. And then finally, Babola?
Yeah, of course, the university is actually like a business owner and the consumers are the students. So of course, I'll make sure at every point in time, through various channels, student voices are heard and we look into their concerns, their observations and make sure that we don't, go away or shy away from our responsibility of being their voice. So I'll definitely be student voice and uphold, whatever is of interest to the students.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next question. Just keep hold of it until, yeah, perfect, thank you. Loneliness is a huge issue for many students at university. Beyond traditional events, what would you do to combat this? Daisy, I'll go to you first.
So that's something I can relate to personally. So actually, during my second year, I was harassed by a fellow student, and I actually did not go outside because I was so terrified. However, through my friends and events such as like walking around the park, picnics, etc., I managed to sort of gain my confidence, and I would love to do that for other students. So I've actually got a couple of ideas for fundraisers such as bake sales, picnics, all that kind of stuff that gets students together but also can help raise money to be towards supporting those students.
Okay, thank you. Annabelle?
Thank you for that. I have met many students facing the same challenge, and I believe that one of the things that we could do is having an orientation tour. So once students come onto campus, just getting them on a bus, taking them around, getting to know your first initial friends, that goes a really long way. Another thing that I'm thinking about doing is having club tester days. So club tester days means that you can attend any club for free and test and see what you like. And then that way, if you decide you're going to go to this club, already you've had the experience of being there before. So I believe that that will make it so much fun. Additionally, I'm thinking of having weekly bus tours to sporting events. Those, I believe, will be so much fun because many times they're in Oxtalls, they're in Gloucester, Placot, and some students just can't get there because they, getting back.
Sorry, I'm going to have to, you're out of time there.
That's fine, that's fine. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
Babola?
Yeah, of course, orientation is very important, and the student needs to understand that whenever you have any challenges, concern, or issues, it is meant to be reported, not just reported, but reported to the right channel. And one of the things we also do at the SU that I would, uphold or continue doing in the SU is to make sure that students are signposted to the right channel where their concerns can, be dealt with and they get the right solution.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Increasingly, the cost of attending university is impacting students. What would you do, if any, on the cost of living challenges students are facing? Babola, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, of course, cost of living is a general thing that is not just affecting the student. And in the university, as a full-time officer, I will make sure we look into the resources available by the university, because that is the first thing. You cannot come in with an idea you know very sure that university cannot, accept or approve or does not have the capacity to implement. So this goes to one of my manifesto, information dissemination, making sure that students are aware of the resources available by the university and how they can go about and explore it, and that is going to be of benefit to them.
Thank you. Daisy?
Yeah, that actually relates to one of my campaign points as well. So I really want to expand the free food you get in the student union. So I don't know if anyone's seen it, but there's some supplies there. However, I feel like we could increase this as the cost of living has hit our students really, really hard. And we shouldn't be worrying about what we're going to have for dinner. We should be worrying about putting the most and all of ourselves into our exams and to our coursework. So that's partly why I was talking about fundraisers earlier. So whilst that brings us together as a community, it can also be used to make money and be put towards the funding for getting extra items in for that space.
Thank you, Daisy. Annabelle?
Thank you. I'm excited about this opportunity as well. I believe that having structures, especially for international students, to have 25 hours, it might seem, very ambitious at the moment, but this is something the government is already considering. Canada is considering that as well. The US is considering that as well. And in Australia, they already have 48 hours per fortnight. So I believe this is possible. Meanwhile, I will work with Unitems and other structures that we have so far to ensure that if we have 20 hours, students actually have good paying jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have done a lot of talking about mental health. Do you think that is enough, or what more do you think could be done? Babola, I'll go to you first.
Well, on mental health, I laugh, almost every time when I come about, mental health orientation, because the first thing that needs to be done, before we move into mental health is actually provision. What are the provisions available before we start talking about, mental health orientation? So I'm more keen about provisions available for students. For example, I know the SU has a partnership with the food banks across Cheltenham and Gloucester, which you can get a voucher from the student union and visit any of these food banks. A lot of international students actually, are having issues last year that needs that requires an emergency. There is actually an emergency situation that requires urgent attention, and I was able to issue food bank vouchers more than before to a lot of international students who are actually having challenges.
Sorry, you're out of time there. Thank you for that. Okay, Daisy, next.
So mental health is a very important thing, and also, again, part of my campaign. So first of all, we need to look at mental health as a whole. So we have the counselling service, which is an amazing service. I've used it myself, and it is something that can be really, really helpful. But we need to increase the accessibility to it, because I didn't know how to sign up for it originally. Someone had to show me how to do it. So I want to make it easier and more accessible for the counselling, but also create things like a support group. So I actually work with the chaplains at the uni, but also chaplains across the country, and including deaf doulas. So increasing support from people like that, where it will be more instant, because obviously there's a wait time for counselling. So running things like a deaf cafe where you can talk about grief and the things that have upset you, and just working with the chaplains and sort of organising events like that where students can come together and look after each other as well.
Thank you. Annabelle.
Thank you. Mental health is a huge part of my campaign, and I ask so many students, they're complaining about, loneliness and feelings of lostness and not having friends. And when I see all these advertisements on the school platforms, they're doing a fantastic job at HelpZone. I've also, I've also been a beneficiary of these services. And I realize that many people don't know about them, even though they're everywhere. So what I intend to do is to add strategic notice boards is such a simple thing, but many times when you see these events on Monday on the website, by Friday when they're happening, it's gone, absolutely. Also, I'm going through a life coaching program with Help Zone. Every time I ask a student, they absolutely don't know about it. Yeah, so I'm going to make it strategic, the marketing.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, that's great, thanks. Recent announcements by the government have noted tighter regulations by the OFS, who are the Office for Students and the regulatory body for higher education. They have noted how the OFS will examine freedom of speech in SCUs and universities. How will you ensure freedom of speech is protected here at UOG? Daisy, I'll go to you first.
Obviously, I study religion, philosophy and ethics, so freedom of speech is a pretty big topic within my course. So I'd like to think I have some sort of base knowledge for this and how important it can be just to be fundamentally you, because what you think is very much an essence of you. So creating spaces where things like debates could happen could be really fun because it gets everyone involved, but also just creating those connections between lecturers and the students, letting them ask questions that they think are relevant. Yeah.
Thank you. Babola?
Yeah, freedom of speech is actually very important, and I'm going to continue to, uphold some channels we already have, which is like Voice It, your concern. If any student actually have a concern, you can actually go to the university website through the SU and voice, your concern and change it. So this has actually been a very good tool for students to express their feelings and pour out whatever they have in mind. So this is a very good channel, and I'm going to continue building on it. And through several events and programs that have been organized, is also an avenue for students to, pour out their mind. I'll talk about some of the things that are affecting them, that also recognizes the presence of various sections in the university, and they've been able to provide solutions to issues they are having immediately.
Thank you. Annabelle?
I believe that many students, and thank you so much for that platform, Voice It, I'm so grateful. Many students probably don't know what it means that I can voice my voice. I can share my opinions. So what I'll do, I'll continuously help students right from the beginning, from their orientation, that it means you can come to us and tell us and that you're safe, and continually spread that message through course reps and many other people that are passionate about this, like myself, continuously. Yes, you can share with us, you're safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question. So we understand that liberation groups and student groups who are underrepresented have a different student experience to other students. How will you ensure these students receive the best student experience? Annabelle, if we go to you first.
Sure, thank you. As one of them, I'm an international student from Kenya, and once I missed just one day of orientation, it was crazy. Felt like I would never catch up. So right from the beginning, I intend to have students getting to know their way around, this different students, diverse students, getting to know their way around through the campus tour, different locations where you can shop and do all those things. Also accommodate for advocate for school accommodation rather than, trying to figure out your accommodation for the first 3 months. That, I believe, really just settles them to excel other than starting the school in a really chaotic way. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Daisy, I'll go to you next.
Can you repeat the question as well? Thank you.
Yes, sure. We understand that liberation groups, or student groups, who are underrepresented have a different student experience to other students. How will you ensure these students receive the best student experience?
So there's so many underrepresented groups within just life, and that's really unfortunate, but things such as the LGBTQ club and others such as the international students, creating a safe space where they can all sort of come forward and make sure they get the full aspect of their education, because no one should be facing any barriers towards it. So making sure they can come forward. So again, the student reps, they can go mention, say, I feel like I've got a barrier because of this. and make sure that everyone's got the equal opportunities, not only to enjoy university, but make the most out of their degree. Because at the end of the day, we're spending a lot of money and a lot of time working towards our degree. So making sure that everyone gets the equal opportunities is essential.
Thank you, Babola.
Yeah, I'll make sure everyone's voice is heard. On LGBTQ, I will make sure their voices are heard. I will make sure I respect their different characteristics, and I will make sure I implement, policies that can actually help and aid them. And on international students, I realized that when I came down into this university, I have to sort out a lot of things myself. And ever since I've been here, even before I became a full-time officer, I've been able to put, a lot of things in place that can actually help people who are coming behind me not to face issues that I face. I've been able to create a lot of channels for them that prior to their arrival in the university or to the United Kingdom, they know a lot of things about the universities. They know some resources they can actually tap into, some of the things they need to do, which has actually helped a lot of people. And I can say many international students do not feel a lot of things that my set felt because I was able to help them.
Sorry, you just finished just in time there. Very good. Okay. Fantastic. Annabelle? Yep, okay. So final question. We have a vibrant international community here at UOG. How will you overcome cultural and educational differences to ensure the best student experience? Yeah, good. Annabelle first, thank you.
Thank you. First of all, once I help them settle into school accommodation, I believe that will give them a lot of confidence to start running right from the beginning. How will I help them be confident and integrate? I believe that helping them, one of my campaign points is that I would help them have information before they come on their local culture, local values, and also to ensure that they know that they can be themselves here while respecting the local culture. So we'll have events to do with celebrating the local culture and also bringing out your own culture. Thank you.
Okay, that's Daisy, do you want to go next?
Yeah, can you just repeat the question as well?
Of course.
Thank you.
So we have a vibrant international community here at UOG. How will you overcome cultural and educational differences to ensure the best student experience?
Well, as I said earlier, I'm a religion, philosophy and ethics student, so my entire degree has been working towards understanding the barriers, understanding how people from different backgrounds really do struggle. So I'd like to put that into use to try and get an understanding. But also, so one of my closest friends is actually an international student, and the stuff she faced, especially with finance issues, because obviously they pay more, there's not a lot of support in help for international students. So making sure that they've got resources they can go and ask questions, where they can go find someone who can actually help them, that's really important. So just improving on the connections where international students can ask a question and actually get a helpful answer.
Perfect. Babola?
Thank you. I've got a lot on that, actually. Whenever I campaign or I move around, one of the things I make sure that I do say is creating a university experience that is best for all. And I've got 4 points on this. Number one, I'm going to organize a session on awarding gap. I'm going to, look into implementation of lower class and upper class, coming together to help those who are just coming into the system. Then I'm going to look at the issue of accommodation, which I think I've been working on. When I went for the APPG meeting on student housing crisis, I was able to mention some of the issues that students are facing. I suggested, a body looking into, this accommodation, a body regulating accommodation, because I see that we have a lot of issues with accommodation, students having issues with university halls and private accommodation. On private accommodation, it is going, higher and higher because it's not being regulated.
Finished. Sorry,
And
you're out of time. You're out of time. Great answer, but out of time. Okay, perfect. Thank you all for answering that one. So now we've got an opportunity to take any questions from the audience. Does everyone have a question? Fantastic.
So obviously mental health is quite a big thing and big issue everywhere. what would you say is the largest factor for you in helping with these issues and kind of dealing with these issues?
So just to summarise, what's the biggest factor within mental health, do you think, Annabelle?
I don't understand what you mean factor. What does that mean? What do you mean? What's the biggest factor?
Do you mean like the biggest cause of mental health issues?
So what do you feel is most important when raising awareness with mental health issues?
So what is most important when raising mental health issues?
What do I think is most important in raising mental health issues? All right, great. I believe that encouraging people to know that they can thrive and that they should thrive no matter what stage they are or what season they are in life. Helping people to see that they don't have to sink to start, sort of learning how to swim. So quick support and quick, action for people. I believe that will be better than, getting it when it's too late. Does that answer your question? All right, thank you so much.
Babola?
Yeah, on mental health, I think I've always mentioned provision. And when you tell people that your right of state is not stable and you need to come out of it, be stable, where are you signposting them to? What are the alternatives that you are giving them? What are the provisions available for them? So while we are orientating them, there is need to make an adequate provision, for people's mental health to be in right of state. Because if you are owing a fee and you are getting a message from income team, you are not going to concentrate in class. If you are having issue with your landlord, you are not going to concentrate in class. So what are the provisions available for these people? Part of it is flexibility, which I have been able to do in the area of tuition fee for international students, from 2 installments, and it is now 4 installments.
Thank you. Daisy?
I think the main one for me would be accessibility. So I've talked about it a bit before, but trying to sign up, for example, the counselling service is quite difficult if you don't know how to get to it. So making sure that's easier for people to find and sign up, and maybe trying to cut down the wait times for that, but also accessibility to just general things that may help improve. So obviously because we've got quite a few campuses, sometimes the events are only held at one campus, so making sure events where people can come together and do things together, which is a massive thing to help others, that's spread across the university, because not every student can travel, not every student can go and access everything, so making sure that everyone knows where support is, how to get that support, and it's the right support is the most important, I think.
Thank you. Okay, have we got any other questions? Any questions? Yep.
Hi. So, as Welfare and Diversity Officer, you obviously work with your other full-time officers, and one of those would be the Activities and Opportunities Officer. We have many sports teams and societies at UOG, and we work with our committees and train our committees to support their members in the best way they possibly can. One of the committee roles is a welfare officer. So, can you tell us how you would help the work with the Activities and Opportunities Officer to support the welfare officer in their role?
Okay, Daisy, do you want to go first?
So I've already mentioned such things as fundraisers, so working with them to organise these events so they can then help fund other things such as the food bank or clubs or trips. So using that, working together and planning events is probably a great way to organise that. Can you repeat the question again as well? Sorry. Or summarise it again.
So how will...
In your role as Welfare and Diversity Officer, you'll also work with your other officers, one of those being Activities and Opportunities. We have sports and societies, they have committees who run those sports and societies. One of those committee members is a welfare officer. Their job is to signpost students within their student groups to support within the university, etc. So how would you work with your fellow officer to support that person in their role?
So obviously being a diversity and welfare officer, we're also going to be looking at each other and the staff's welfare as well. So making sure that the other officers are supported just as well mentally, physically, because it can be a difficult job. So making sure they're not putting everything into it to the point they're making themselves also looking after them, but also say they need some extra help putting posters around to signpost at the events, the clubs, the societies. I'll happily run around and do that for everyone and just sort of help whatever they needed me to do. Yeah.
Thank you. But Annabelle, do you want to go answer that question next?
Sure, thank you. I look forward to working with other officers to making our school much, much better. One of the things that I intend to do with the activities and opportunities, I intend for them to have club tester days, society tester days, where students can just come in for that event and see what happens in the club before they sign in and join the club. For sports, I have even better news for you. I've met many sports people who say that many times they're playing, there's no one to watch. And I plan to have students coming in on a free bus to watch you every time, yeah? And we'll have meal deals to add to that, yeah. So I believe that will be really fun.
Okay, thank you, Babola.
Yeah, I believe regardless of our various offices, we all work together as a full-time officer, and there is need, for us to work in collaboration. I have been able to have different events, and in most of my events, it always has the attendance of other full-time officers, which is to show solidarity and to say we all work together in team. Because as a welfare officer, there are times you have to answer questions about that relates to the office of the activities and opportunities officer. So there is need for collaboration. Of course, we're going to work together to bring all events that can actually interest students in the university. I was able to organize Harmony Unleashed event, which is actually to showcase students' talent. And this, I believe ordinarily it should be from the Office of Activities and Opportunities Officer. But regardless, we all need to work together. Whatever comes to your head that can be of benefit to students, we work as a team.
Oh, you're good at finishing on time there, just maximum time. Okay, that's great. Has everyone answered that question? Yes, fantastic. Okay, any more questions? Okay, you've got one more.
Hi. Okay, so I have a question for individual question for every one of them. Okay, so first question for Annabelle. So you ask the question and then they all get to answer. Okay, got the point. But my question is only for Annabelle. Okay, so I was reading your manifesto that you said that I will try to make student to work 25 hours. So it's your wish, or do you have any roadmap on it? First thing, there is a saying in my country, only the soldiers know the worth of the freedom. So if you are not the second question for Daisy, if you are not the international student, so how are you gonna know that we are suffering from which thing? And the third question for the Babola there.
One question, and then everyone has the opportunity to answer that. So, to summarise, we're talking about international students and the issues of the restrictions on the hours that they can work. Daisy, do you want to go first? If you take the mic.
Obviously, you made a point that I'm not an international student myself, but listening to students is the bit that I think is most important. So working with them directly, understanding what's hard for them, what's difficult, what barriers they have. So doing meetings where they can come and speak with me, or even surveys so I can understand what problems and difficulties are added. So whilst I might not know personally, listening I'm very good at doing. So making sure that person feels listened to and validated from what they're going through is just important. That's all I can say. It's so important to listen to the individuals.
Okay, thank you. Annabelle?
Thank you for that question. I'm grateful that I have a background in diplomacy and foreign policy, so negotiation is something that I've really studied. But when it comes to this matter, what I intend to do, luckily again, this is not something that's starting. The conversation is already there. yeah, with the government and with many student unions. I intend to add my voice there and really push for this. I believe it's possible. Just between October and September, we went through a recession, still sort of going on, that reduced the GDP by 0.3%. So I believe that 25 hours is good for everyone. You don't want students having so many hours to study, but they're spending them stressed. They're spending them, with this financial stress, and, it doesn't, and for the school, we want quality education. So I believe this is absolutely possible, working with other student unions. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay. Babola.
Yeah, thank you. Your first question was actually on the 25 hours.
As we've said,
We're
we're
for the same
answering.
position.
You have one question, and everyone gets the opportunity to answer it. That's the rules, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we are running for the same welfare. So, the first question you asked was about 25 hours. Was about the 20 hours limited for working hours for international students. I've been privileged to be in NUS. I know this is not what the university can do. Of course, other universities are also, complaining about this, the international student there. So I've been able to be in NUS, UKISA, and the APPG and the parliament to raise concern about this, that the 20 hours is not only small for international students, but it has also limited them to a compulsory working every week. And they are looking into reviewing this, if possible. That was what they said, because I made them to understand the impact of international students in the United Kingdom, which the UK is generating over £40 billion over international students annually. So there's need to look into this concern, and it is ongoing. I am part of the 7 universities
Okay, you
that
have to stop
actually
talking now. We're out of time. I'm really
a
sorry.
letter to their MPs
You're out
on
of time.
this.
Okay, all right, amazing, thank you. Okay, so we're out of time for those. We've had lots of questions. What I'm going to do is, because I messed up a little bit at the beginning, I'm going to bring everyone back at the end to make their closing statements all together, so we'll take it in turns. Thank you so much. Everyone give them a round of applause. Lots of questions asked there. What I'm going to ask you to do now is go into the student union office, and we'll have some budding journalists to take a little video of all 3 of you, and then as soon as you're done, come straight back. All right, thank you. Thanks very much. But Bol, if you just leave that on stage, that camera, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, so next up we have activities and opportunities officers. Would you like to come up? Give them a round of applause. Fill the silence. Hello. I'm just making sure that works. Okay. I think, unfortunately, one of the candidates hasn't been able to make it right now. So you 2 have got the stage. You're lucky. So, let's get ready for some questions. Okay, sorry to ask this again, but what is your favourite biscuit and why do you think it's the best? Vanessa.
My favourite biscuit is custard cream. Just because they're so sweet, perfect sweetness. Have a good bite to them.
Excellent.
I'd probably say a jammy Dodger, just because the nice surprise in the middle.
Yeah,
jam.
nice and jammy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now on to the serious questions. Okay, so as a full-time officer, you represent around 9,000 students spread across Gloucestershire. How would you ensure that you heard a diversity of views? Mackenzie.
I think it's really important to have a safe space when it comes to hearing the views of the students, having kind of an anonymous survey where you can understand what people want, their views, and what changes they kind of want to have, having it in confidence that their voice is going to be heard across campus, across all university, and across all activity officers.
Thank you. Vanessa?
This adds to part of my manifesto where I look to introduce and improve communication platforms within the university. I'm looking at introducing a Q&A platform to support sports clubs and societies, as well as other student groups within the university, which should create a sense of transparency and ensure each community within the student body gets the same information and then gets recognised.
Okay, amazing. Thank you both. So, next question. Students are often working jobs alongside their studies. How do you plan to balance this to ensure as many get to be part of extracurricular activities and events? Vanessa, I'll come to you first.
I'm looking at, I aim to work with sports clubs and existing university staff to operate movement programs for all students, looking to introduce that alongside the sports clubs and have them accessible across most campuses. For example, working with, say, netball, where once a week they come to Cheltenham and have a movement program, and that could change between sports clubs each week or each month, and could get this will open it up to more students and provide more opportunities for them to keep moving and get their voices heard.
Okay, Mackenzie.
I think it's very difficult being a student and also being on a sports course and working, full-time or part-time to juggle everything. I think it's important that students speak to the work that they're doing, being in contact with the university and their sports club. I think being able to create a safe boundary between their training times, match days, and their working hours will help them move forward. I'll help them pick roles that doesn't affect their studies, doesn't affect their sport, and doesn't affect their free time, because overall students need time to not be working and not to be on their jobs and just relax. It's very important.
Thank you. Okay, so next question. We have a diverse student population. How will you ensure we create events that are inclusive and engaging for the whole student body? Mackenzie, I'll come to you again first.
One of my objectives is to explore new and exciting opportunities for greater student involvement, mainly around voluntary work within the local community. So I know that the university, back I think it was in my second year, had night support workers. I'm looking to do kind of like an environmental cleanup initiatives, involvement with disability sports for all kind of students that might want to take their time out of university and look at things that could be inclusive for everyone with not, that might not be available or accessible at the university.
Okay, thank you. Vanessa?
I think that one of the key things is to ensure that all students are aware of the opportunities around the university and each campus, and by doing so through newsletters and the MyGloss app, I'd like to introduce those movement programs that I mentioned earlier, and ensure that more and more groups are getting involved in getting moving and getting their minds off their uni work and other external stresses from university.
Okay, amazing. Thank you both. We know for the past couple of years, sports and societies have found recruitment of members a challenge. How would you work alongside the student union to improve the recruitment process and support clubs and societies to recruit more members? Vanessa, do you want to go first?
I am looking at starting availability to trials or taster sessions sooner in the year. I know that one of the challenges with recruitment in sports clubs and societies comes with how late students move into accommodation, and to make sure that the committees of sports clubs and societies are up and running, have a good understanding, and provide opportunities for them to get started before new students come in for the academic year, and provide those opportunities and advertisement for those coming in, if they're available to come and join them.
Okay, Mackenzie.
That's a impact that we've had as a club this year. As club captain for rugby league, we have a lot of people that leave at the end of the year, and recruitment's very difficult because there's a lot of other clubs that students want to come and try. So for me, attending regular committee meetings is something that has positively impacted our recruitment. Being close with your committee is another reason why. Something that we found is very key is helping students move in on specific days, whether that's your Gloucester-based or Cheltenham-based, going around all campuses is very key, as well as working with outsider clubs. We have rugby league clubs that have taster sessions throughout the summer so people can familiarise themselves with the rules before attending uni.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you both. Next question. So, recent announcements by the government have noted tighter regulations by the OFS, who are the Office for Students and the regulatory body for higher education. They've noted how the OFS will examine freedom of speech in student unions and universities. How will you ensure freedom of speech is protected here at the University of Gloucestershire? Yeah.
Like earlier, having safe spaces for opportunities to talk in, confidence, having anonymous surveys to allow students to voice it, helping with the university to continue their Voice It, Change It campaign that they already have in place. I think that's extremely key for students to feel like they can speak and talk their views, because obviously there's no wrong answer. We want everyone to be able to feel safe and confident when speaking to the university about their ideas.
Okay, great. Thank you, Vanessa.
I think this ties in well with my manifesto point of improving communication between students and staff members. I aim to introduce a new Q&A platform to support the sports clubs and societies as well as other groups within the university. We've experimented with a platform similar to this within the netball club, where it's an anonymous space and people are able to speak how they feel. And this will be safe and anonymous for the students, whilst also creating a platform of information for other university groups too.
Okay, thank you both. Societies at UOG can often feel forgotten. What would you do to support them feeling more included and appreciated? Vanessa, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I wasn't fully aware that societies felt ignored or not heard, but now I'm informed on that. I'm able to take that information and work hard to provide similar opportunities that the sports clubs have at the minute as well with the societies, and introduce similar ideas throughout the society groups as well as the sports clubs, so that they've all got the same opportunities. I'm also looking at expanding some of the current funds within the SU and spread that evenly or as best I can relative to the size of sports clubs and societies.
Okay, thank you, Mackenzie.
Yeah, same. I didn't realise that this was a thing that the societies felt. I think it's probably key to try and integrate them into positions that they want to be in. You know, potentially not everyone wants to play sports when they come to uni, but I think having an opportunity for them to join on days that they might not be able to join, kind of creating platforms and opportunities where they can attend, you know, specific fundraisers or sports days that they feel that is beneficial to them. I think just listening to what their views and what they want to get out of it is going to be key to moving forward for them and for other societies that want to, you know, work together or build on something new.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. So our final question before we take some from the floor is, we have heard that some disabled students do not feel that sports clubs and societies are very accessible to them. How would you approach this? Mackenzie, do you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, one of those is part of my manifestos, is working with involvement with disability sport initiatives. I worked at the Cheltenham Leisure Centre last year on placement for the club Boccia Club, which was involved in disability sport. I think it's a great opportunity for students to get involved, and for, you know, Cheltenham Leisure, for an example, to get in contact with the university, see if there are any students that are interested in maybe not even taking part in the sport, but volunteering, coaching. It kind of then creates a, you know, allows for broader involvement for students that want to take a different path in the sporting aspect of the university.
Vanessa?
Yeah, actually, this is one of the things that we've been looking at as a netball club, to work alongside the university programme Move Your Way, which they're trying to get up and going this year, which is an accessible and free service provided by the university to get minority groups within the university to get moving and get involved in community opportunities within the university. This even opens it up for them to be involved in other sports clubs and societies events such as fundraisers, and it just gets them involved in other community opportunities around the university and lets them get to know other people too.
Okay, Mackenzie?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. We have had that some disabled students do not feel that sports clubs and societies are very accessible to them. You've answered that one. I am so sorry. That's the last question. So, do we have any questions from the grant? Yeah, okay. You're very good at asking questions.
So, as a society president, I can sometimes, it feels like the recognition and marketing received from the SU towards ourselves is less than the sports societies can get. So I was wondering if this was an issue that we would raise with yourselves, how would you go about lessening the divide that we felt between the marketing and recognition between the societies and the sports?
I think that's a great question. I think having regular meetings with, I would say, the presidents of societies, but obviously all committee, understanding what you want to get out of it, what you want to promote, and how you want to be viewed as a society. I think, closely working with everyone in the SU and every committee member is probably going to help expand your views and your desire as a society. Obviously, listening to what you want and what you don't want is extremely key, and hopefully that would benefit you in the long run for your upcoming committee or what you want to get out of it.
Thank you for that question. I think that our current SU and our existing staff within the university have actually made a great start to starting that movement. I know that Paige, the leaving officer, has actually worked really hard to do the monthly roundups of clubs and societies, as well as introducing the student leaders meetings and training, which was great for sports clubs and societies, as societies were also involved in the informative sessions that the sports clubs had. And I think that steps in the right direction, and I'd like to just expand on that and progress further to include societies and get them involved with alongside sports clubs, as I feel like that if you work alongside the sports clubs, it will be more engaging for societies.
Thank you both. Any other questions? No? Go on, Paige. What would you like to ask?
Hello. Don't panic. So, this year I've based my priority campaign around the cost of living, and the crisis doesn't look like it's going to go away for students anytime soon. We've introduced things such as community cupboard, and free toast in SU spaces for the wider student population. For sports clubs specifically, we've introduced the Activity Access Fund, which is a bursary they can apply for year on year. We've recently introduced the Society Support Fund, which acts similarly. What else, if you think it is needed, do you think that the SU can do to help students who want to get involved in extracurricular activities financially? I hope that makes sense. If you want that repeated, just ask.
Okay. I think that, like I said, that we've started as a university to make great progress in tackling these problems. And like I said earlier, I think that I'd really like to work with the Move Your Way programme that the university are trying to introduce throughout not just sports clubs but also societies, to open up opportunities for just people who wouldn't typically be involved in those sports clubs and societies, get them in having an hour session of sport, or work with the societies to introduce just activities in separate settings, just an hour a week. We've got so many sports clubs and societies around the university that I'm sure that a weekly thing per sports club or society would be manageable.
Thank you.
I think continuing on what the university and the SU are doing already, I think having that continue would be, a 3-year plan. You would start to see some small changes, keeping the extended food bank positions, negotiated staggered payment plans for club memberships. I know that's been a massive positive for people involved. I think looking at the involvement in kind of voluntary work in the local community can help with that kind of, freedom of getting away from everything that's going to be expensive. It can help with mental health. It can help with finding new opportunities to grow as a student. So I think helping the SU, regardless of, committee or not, it's going to benefit the university and the students around every campus if we all get on board and work together as this plan is in place.
Okay, cool. Thank you both. I think that may be it for questions. Oh no, we've got more. Okay. Ibby, then Paige. Ibby, what's your question?
So inclusivity in sport is quite an important thing at the moment. I was just wondering how you would encourage sports teams to practice inclusivity in their work and in their sport.
Oh, Mackenzie, you go first.
I think it's important. We've had a recent workshop about inclusivity, actually. I think getting everyone to... It's very difficult when you're in a sports society because when you get new people joining, you have older students who have already been there since their first year. I think kind of creating a positive and not scary environment would help students feel that they can speak to everyone. Having someone, maybe your club captain or, a fourth year, help move a first year in. It would create kind of a instant bond that it's not actually that bad to speak up. You ask questions, get them in the group chat. I think it's just, if everyone's on the same page right from the start, it's going to be a lot easier as a team and a society moving forward. There'll be no stress and no worries for anyone involved.
Thank you. Vanessa?
I think that this problem has been tackled, or I wouldn't say tackled, but is being worked on within the netball club already. Through workshopping, we as a committee have got to understand what inclusivity means. Within our own sports club in netball, we've introduced a buddy system, which has enabled us to include members and new students who would typically have been turned away in the past. Through that buddy system, though, I would like, as an activities and opportunities officer, to create a structure and a scaffolding of that buddy system to be spread around each of the sports clubs and societies so that they've all got the same structure and have that additional support through the SU.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Paige, another question from you.
Hi. So we have, at UOG, we have some clubs that are considered as focus sports. And between them and other clubs, there has been a divide created because people feel that maybe it's unfair, that some people get more investment than others. How would you, as Activities and Opportunities Officer, deal with the divide and help to bridge the gap and the understanding and dissemination of information to students on this?
I think that I can really relate to this question, as netball is one of the focus sports at the university. It has been difficult this year, but I think one great way of being able to tackle this in future years is to just provide strong communication and provide that understanding to other students why those clubs or teams have been selected for that additional funding, because often it's easy to assume that the whole club gets X amount of money, or it's easy to assume that they've been selected because they've got more members, when actually there are more factors considered into being selected as a focus sport. And I think that it's just important to inform other students and members as to why that is the case.
Yeah, it took the answer right out of my mouth. Rugby league being a focus sport as well, it's very difficult actually to go about it in a way that it's not, in everyone's face at the university. I think what Vanessa said is probably the step forward is, keeping everyone in the loop, communicating positively to why these certain clubs have been selected. Don't look at the negatives, look at the positives. Potentially give an opportunity for upcoming clubs to have their chance of, putting reasons forwards why they think they should be a focus sport, regardless of the money, but maybe in terms of performance and players. Having individuals be, able to contact the SU saying, look, we have a couple ideas to why we think we should be involved in this, set up a meeting and just listen. I think that'd be a great step forward.
Great. I think that might be it. Okay, perfect. So thank you. Everyone give them a round of applause. They've just been grilled there. They've done well. What I'm going to do, if you stick around, take a seat down, but I'm going to bring up all the candidates in terms of how we've done it just now so they can make their closing statements. Is that all right? So you take a seat down and then we're going to get education up to make a closing statement. I'll move these. Sorry, this wasn't how it's supposed to be, but actually I think it might be the best way because you'll remain fresh in everyone's minds of what your campaign will all be about. So, where have we got? So just a reminder, each of you have got 1 minute to say what your main campaign priorities are and why people should vote for you. You will be timed, and if you look over to where Drew is, he will give you a sign of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 when the time's coming up. But I'll also shout at you in a nice way to say, stop talking. Okay, so you'll have to use your microphone. Shrav, are you happy to go first? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we've got, you ready, Drew, to time? Okay, so Shrav, tell us.
So my main 3 motives are enhance learning support for students who are non-native English speakers or with people who have learning disabilities to have better learning support from lecturers. And the second point is to improve connectivity between students across campuses by enhancing networking opportunities. And third one is lecturer-student communication to be better by improving feedback systems, earlier timetables, and through regular social events between them.
Perfect, thank you. Ibby, you've got a minute. Tell us.
Cool. I'm Ibby, and I am rerunning as your Education Community Officer for the second time. I feel that I have proven my experience, commitment and care for the last year, and my manifesto points are disabled student support. So 30% of our student population are disabled students, but support still isn't there for them. So I would like to continue my campaign on disabled student experience. I would also like to improve student voice communications by creating a newsletter for student voice reps and continue engagement with these reps. My third point is on academic support, so lobbying the university for clearer academic support and creating events that include collaborative learning, access to academic support, and wellbeing activities.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And finally, Kit.
Thank you. These last few years have been incredibly challenging, and I believe the student union's focus should be easing that burden, as well as examining what the higher-ups are doing to help us. This is why my first point is accountability, and it's creating a Freedom of Information Act so that we can see what the SU is doing for us, what the University Executive Board is doing for us, and the decisions that affect our course. I will also begin introducing polling on key issues ahead of executive meetings, which enhances direct democracy, and that the decisions that affect you, you have a say in. Mental health is my second focus, and I believe that education goes beyond just the structuring. I'm going to reform the 6-week counselling course to extend support beyond that timeline. I will also have a look into support networks for both students and adults. Finally, I believe food is a really important factor.
3 seconds.
The gut is the second brain, and canteen...
So I'm afraid you're out of time. Amazing, thank you very much. Good luck with your campaign, guys, and thank you for coming today. Everyone give them a final round of applause. Fantastic. Okay, so welfare and diversity candidates, you're up next. If you want to come and take a seat. Put you back where you were before. Okay, so just a reminder, you've got 1 minute to tell us all about your campaign and why people should vote for you. You will be timed, so if you keep an eye out, Drew at the back there will put his hands up with a countdown of 5 when it's coming to the end of your time. And that's it. So when we start with Annabelle. You've got 1 minute to tell us all about your campaign. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm Annabelle Munga from Kenya. Helping people thrive and live to their fullest potential is my purpose in life. I intend to first revamp the onboarding experience for new students by helping them move into school accommodation. I intend to help people settle into learning about the British culture and values and having an orientation tour around important places in school, around schools. Then mental health and well-being is a huge one for me. I intend to have creative and strategic marketing of therapy and coaching services available at school. Then I also intend to have a free weekly bus ride for you to go to sporting events in different campuses, Oxtalls especially. And I intend to have clubs and societies tester days. Lastly, I intend to have enabling financial structures so students can, international
I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you there. Sorry, thank you. Amazing, thank you. Okay, Daisy, you've got 1 minute from now.
So I'm Daisy and I'm a third year religion, philosophy and ethics student. And making sure everyone feels safe to be their genuine and authentic self is the most important thing to me here. So my 3 main areas to achieve this are the safe spaces, so they're essential for making those people feel that they can be included in the university experience and have a positive one. So we all deserve to feel comfortable being ourselves, regardless of our gender, race, sexuality and beliefs. So making sure that there's spaces where we can be ourselves is important. This also leads me on for my next point is mental health. So as someone who's used the counselling service, I can say it's an excellent resource, but making sure it's all more accessible and more things can be put in place to help those whilst they're waiting for the counselling service is also really important. £39 on average is spent on mental health services per student across the UK for all unis, so this needs to be improved. And then also my third thing is making sure the cost of living support is increased through fundraising events to improve the support.
Okay, you finished right in time there, well done. Okay, last but not least, Bobola, you've got 1 minute from now.
Thank you. My name is Bobola, and I'm thrilled to announce my candidacy for the position of Welfare and Diversity Officer. I've been honored to serve in this role, and I'm deeply committed to continue the vital work we've begun together. If elected, I plan to continue championing the cause with this renewed focus 3 pillars, which number 1 is information dissemination, recognizing the importance of awareness in assessing support and resources. The second one is international student well-being. International students actually enrich the campus community, but also face unique challenges. I will implement tailored initiatives to address these challenges, provide a supportive network that enhances well-being, and foster a sense of belonging. The third one is community building and engagement. Our strength lies in diversity. And I want to tell you all that a vote for Bobola is a vote for all.
Oh, well done. You did it in a minute there. Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, thank you so, so much for those statements. Everyone give them a round of applause and good luck with your campaigns. Okay, perfect. You can now leave the stage. Perfect, thank you. And so, last but not least, we've got activities and opportunities back up on stage. And a little bit late, but we're still glad to have you, is Mohammed. So come and take a seat. So just a reminder, you have got 1 minute to tell us all about your campaign and why people should vote for you. You will be timed. Take a look. Can you see Drew there who's waving? When it comes to close to a minute, he's going to give you a 5-second countdown so you know that you're running out of time. And then I'll shout at you nicely and tell you to stop. Okay, so Vanessa, would you like to go first?
Hi guys, I'm Vanessa Garrett and I'm standing in the election for Activity and Opportunities Officer this year. I'm currently the university's netball club captain and was the netball third team captain, and I'm also a member of the UAG Sport Board. My 3 aims are to make activities more accessible, push for cross-campus networking and improve communication and engagement, between staff and students. In terms of making accessible activities, I aim to work with the sports clubs and existing university staff to operate movement programs for all students. I hope this leads to a movement in improving student well-being and mental health. Cross-campus networking, I hope to introduce networking opportunities for students to meet new people and gain new skills. This will grow social groups and encourage participation throughout the university. This will coincide with and promote the new student hubs model the university is introducing. I also hope to improve communication by introducing a new Q&A platform to support...
I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut you off there. Got a lot of information there, but you had a minute. Okay, Mackenzie, up next. Go.
My name is Mackenzie Cumming. I'm running for the Opportunities Activities Officer role for the upcoming year. I'm currently club captain at UOG Rugby League, and my manifesto points is Objective 1, to support the mental health and well-being of all students, evaluating and improving the effectiveness and efficiency of the student help zones across all campuses, to continue to build on Student Union's current and existing vision, which is to help all students with the cost of living crisis, for example, extending food bank provisions and negotiating staggered payment plans, and 3, to explore new and exciting opportunities for greater involvement in voluntary work. I believe these aims will ultimately have a positive impact on the student well-being because they all focus around available support, strengthening communication for all, and providing opportunities for strong community ties. In terms of suitability for the role, I've been a course rep and I've also been a club captain, like I said, this year. In this role, I've worked closely to the student union, attended committee meetings and probably...
And you're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mohammed, yep.
I'm Mohammed Ariful Islam. I'm a Standing Activities and Opportunities Officer. I'm from Bangladesh, where I have completed my graduations. I was a secretary of Economics Club and also treasurer, and also I was the vice president of the student associations in my universities also. Now I'm also the class representative of the international business. So from this perspective, I have lots of experience. That's why I'm standing in this position. What I actually want to do if I elected, actually I want to do something for the disabled students to make the more recreational activities, and also I just want to ensure that all of the students to job facilities and organizing various type of job fair, and organize cultural festivals, food fairs, and performance to celebrate the rich diversity within our student body.
I'm afraid I'm going to stop you there. You've had a minute. I'm really sorry, but that was great. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for taking the time to come and tell us all about your campaigns. I wish you all the luck. Massive round of applause for them. Thank you, everyone. Can I just remind you that we have got a voting booth open from 3 outside the Student Union office, and you do get a free donut if you vote. We will then have on-site voting starting from 10 a.m. tomorrow. That will be here at Park, outside the Student Union office, in Oxtalls in the corridor, and then at FCH in the old Student Union office in the canteen. So you can be voting on-site Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 till 4. Encourage lots of your friends to come along and vote. It's really, really important that you have this opportunity of democracy. And once again, I wish you all so much luck with your campaigns. Okay, thank you.